Hey guys, so it is Alex, and I am live streaming here on our new channel. We've got one YouTube channel specifically for the 24/7 live stream feed that goes on at the shop. You can see that, the King's Tabletop Live. And then we have this channel for me to do video updates about games and general store stuff, chance for me to talk to you guys. And so, yeah, this morning's been fantastic. I like doing these kind of regular videos so that you guys can know what it's like for me as a shop owner in store culture. Because, yeah, when I was getting ready to start a business, there was just this shroud, this fog of mystery around what it's like to actually own a business and run a shop and all the stuff that goes on. And I also like documenting this stuff because, you know, in the future, in the next couple of years, I can go back and see what I was doing on any given day. So what is it like to be a shop owner for me today? Well, today I came into the shop, which is pretty awesome, getting to just kind of turn the lights on. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning, 11 a.m. Store doesn't open till 3, and so, you know, usually I have the ability to come in here early and just kind of hang out if I want to. A lot of people think that that's magical, and that definitely does have its perks. But I am here probably 6, almost 7 days a week sometimes for, let's see, 3 to midnight is 9 hours. And then I put in about an hour beforehand and maybe an hour or two after. So that's almost 12 hours, 6 days a week. And so I'm here I'm here a lot. I really am. So I try to actually keep my distance on my days off, not because I don't love this place, but because I want to continue to love it and to, like, when I come in, be anxious. Like yesterday, I left the Nintendo Switch here, and a couple times during the day, I wish I'd had it with me. And so today, hopping back on is fun. Having my distance from games is fun because then I actually want to play them. And I really, really love being here. I really, really do. I don't have the desire to be anywhere else. I'm looking forward to cracking the doors open at 3, seeing people that are regulars coming in. It's a Monday. It's really exciting. The other things that we are going through right now as a shop that's amazing is we are about 2 months back on our rent, which is right around $3,000. And there's a good reason for that. As a small business, you know, me and Cora got into starting this place out of our own pocket and our retirement and stuff. But no matter how much money you have coming into a place like this, there's still other expenses. There's furniture, there's fixtures, there's getting more inventory, there's getting more games, there's getting more everything. Because as people come in, you want to stay fresh. You want there to be new stuff. You want there to be stuff for people to buy, and also, before we get into a business like this, there's not, especially when it's new and it's experimental like this, there's not a lot of ways for us to know what the costs are going to be. Because even if I were to go to a comic book shop, I can't exactly go in there and ask for their QuickBooks and see how much it costs them to get started. And so even though we've made really good guided decisions, we have another business partner that we get counsel from. Eventually, it's just like being a regular adult. Like everybody on the planet, for the most part, you know, no matter how much you're making at your job, you feel like you're being stretched. You know, you made really good decisions. You're buying good groceries. You're all this other stuff. But every once in a while, there's still that stretch where there's something that you need to be able to afford. And so we came to a decision a few months ago because we had so many customers coming in. We had to make a decision that really is a realistic decision, which is, do we pay our bills and make sure that our lights are on and that we are open, but we don't have anything new? As in, customers come in here to buy inventory, and we really don't have any because we've been using all of our money to just pay bills. And that's great, but it would also lead to customers not really wanting to come in because they'd be like, hey, do you have Magic cards? And we'd be like, nope. And they'd be like, hey, do you have any new board games? And we'd be like, nope. And they'd be like, oh, cool. Hey, are there any new video games on your console? Because I've beaten the ones you have there. And we go, nope. So we decided to take money and pour it into inventory, and that's been amazing. We got a Nintendo Switch. We got a bunch of inventory, and our goal was if we put money into inventory, when we sell that stuff, the profits from that will come back in. We'll be able to use that towards bills. And you hope that it works that way. And then there's other curveballs that come up, like we have a sign, the electric sign, so people know that we're here, and that's going to put us back about $1,000. And then there's fixtures, even just having more chairs, because some of our chairs really started to fall apart. And so even being able to buy new chairs is, again, another expensive thing. Some chairs are like $200. The uncomfortable chairs, folding plastic chairs, are easy. They're like 15 bucks. But that's just not, it's not a comfortable thing. Nobody really likes being in those chairs. It looks awful. And so everything stacks up, because even when you look at like a $15 chair and you get to you're like, oh, that's not much. That's really easy. 15 bucks isn't much. And then you buy 20 of them and you're like, oh, wow, it's $300 plus tax, $350. Oh my gosh. So it's been really interesting to get to a place now where we've had a property manager who's been working with us really, really well. But we are behind on rent, and that's what made us want to launch the campaign that we did, is because we were like, we have so many other expenses. We don't want to close our doors over something as simple as we just couldn't afford our bills. And that would make sense for a business, like if we opened our doors and nobody came in. But man, we have been flooded with people. And so it's been really, really great. But again, it takes time for things to add up. And that's something that, even though I've heard that from people in business before, until you're there, you just don't get it. No matter how many times you have parents in your life, until you are an adult and you actually move out and live in your own place, the first time you get your electric bill in, you realize why your mom or your dad was constantly hounding about shutting the lights off in every room. So where we're at now is we've just been praying for a miracle, basically, because no matter how wise and smart we've been using our finances and everything, it doesn't just make everything work. There is a limit to the amount of money that people have that come in, and even though you can host a tournament, and doesn't mean that people got their paychecks, and so they can't necessarily jump in. So I like being vulnerable about this stuff, because a lot of times people don't really want to go behind the scenes of what's happening in a business. And so it doesn't set people up to look like failures. By me telling you that we have financial issues sets us up to look like we're failures. We're going to die. Our shop's going to close, all this other stuff. But the other thing is it actually gives you authority, because information is authority. And as you can see what it's like for me every day processing a store, and I'm vulnerable, and you can see our weaknesses, our failures, you can see what troubles we run into and what troubles we survive through, it'll encourage you to go after your own stuff and do bigger and better things. And so, again, it's also a learning curve. There could be a setback of me going on here making videos and telling you about what it's like to run a shop. Rumor spreads that we're going to be closing in a month, and so people stop coming. I have no idea. But it's part of a learning process. It's really fun. And I've learned that vulnerability really leads to good things. So we've made that video. And it's also been really difficult too, because this morning I woke up and my video is being bombarded by negative comments. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? Well, we were planning on opening this shop in Texas, and we were working with a business partner. And that business partner ended up getting into some pretty heavy drugs and being involved in prostitution and other things like that. And it ripped our hearts out. I mean, just a family friend that we know, that we love, who's amazing and incredible and fantastic, went on a vacation and just ended up making some really bad decisions on vacation. And of course, as soon as that happens, you just can't have a person like that a part of the business anymore. So we decided not to open up in Texas because we were recovering from heartbreak. I mean, it's like one of my favorite, best friend people in the world. Well, as we continue to be in a relationship with this person and just love the freaking crap out of him, we wanted to see him go through rehab. We wanted to eventually, long-term, really incorporate them back into the shop and go after things. But it wasn't something that they were really interested in. They thought they could fix their problems just by going to church on their own, and that's great. I have no problem with somebody wanting to do that as long as it works. But over the course of the year, I kept getting texts and updates that there were slips and that there was more drug use and all of this other stuff. And in the end, the person didn't want to do anything to really take responsibility for what they did. I mean, it was just a lot of illegal activity, and so we moved on. So fast forward about a year, the shop's open, we're doing great. We start this video, we do this GoFundMe campaign. And I guess even though somehow somebody shared the video and this person pops up out of nowhere and is really just like doing everything they can to let the world know that we have ripped them off, that we cut them out of business and all of this other stuff like that. And which just could not be further from the truth. It's just so sad because at the time that all of that came out, I literally told the person to go get a U-Haul, back the truck up to where we were storing things, and just to take everything, because I wanted to make sure that they felt blessed, that they got their investment back, even though they were making mistakes. If we were going to go ahead and end the business, that they could just have everything. And the interesting thing enough was that they basically said they didn't want any of it, they wouldn't know how to sell it, they wouldn't know how to offload it and all of its other stuff, and they basically abandoned it, and we just hadn't heard from them. So we moved, we brought this stuff with us, we opened a shop, and it's been incredible. But what do you do when you wake up in the morning and find that somebody has come back from the past and they're really angry? And the way that I deal with that is honestly just loving the stink out of them. You know, I don't really respond to anything publicly. I've learned that in the past because for me, I'm a very vulnerable person who likes to just be open about life and, you know, nothing to hide and kind of stuff like that. But I also have learned the downsides of that. Like if you, scripture says, like, if somebody's angry at you, your kindness pours water on a fire of their anger, you know, and I'd have to find the verse for that, but it's like, you know, you can imagine if a person's angry and you're kind to them and you love them and you bless them, that it really, a kind word turns away wrath kind of thing. But I also learned through personal experience that sometimes a person is a grease fire. And when you pour water on a grease fire, it just makes it worse. And so sometimes people are angry at you, and you're really a good excuse for a lot of stuff going on in their life. And so when you try and be kind and nice, there's nothing worse for a person who wants a villain in their life, because it's a dumb story. I mean, what if Superman landed ready to fight Lex Luthor, or Batman shows up to fight the Joker, and the Joker's just like, oh, hi, by the way, I've decided I don't want to be evil anymore, and I just want to help orphans, and so instead of being the Joker and killing people, I'm just going to build toys for a living and be a stand-up comedian and donate all my funds to charity. Well, it's not a villain anymore, which is great if you're a hero. But if you really, really, really want a villain in your life to justify all of everything, your hero mentality, then when the villain, you know, is wonderful and is nice and tries to step in and work things out, it's just not fun. You just want to fight, you know. And so I learned a while ago, when I tried to be open with people and have transparency through replying to comments on Facebook and stuff, it actually just turned out worse. I mean, it turned into a firestorm, and no matter how much I told the person, hey, I understand where you're at, I love you, all of this other stuff, it just was worse and worse and worse. So now I'm more of the kind of person of, hey, I'm going to just delete these comments. This person knows how to get a hold of me. I've tried to get a hold of them, and I really think it's better. For me, the fear is if I'm deleting their comments, it's going to look like I'm trying to sweep something under the rug. But the truth is it's actually out of a place of just not wanting to embarrass the person. The person's comments are just wrong, and there are actually other people that they've pulled into this thing that are now commenting that I've never even met, that I don't know, that are just like forming a mob mentality of, this guy says that he was taken advantage of, then I'm going to come up and attack whoever they're attacking. And for me, I just love those people because, you know, I can see, you know, I can't say I used to be there, but at the same time, I used to be an unhealthy person. And the more that I grow and learn about Jesus, the better. And so I really got into a place where now I just delete the comments, mostly because I don't want them to be embarrassing themselves. That's not really something I can stop, but the nice thing is I can delete comments, and hopefully they get tired of leaving comments and just go back. And my hope is that eventually they reach out, because anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's the person that's angry or anybody in the mob, that they would come out for the other side of the story to see what's going on. But for right now, what I've learned as a leader is to not go public. When people are just absolutely starting a flame war, persecuting you, doing all kinds of stuff, the more you just don't respond, the better for the most part. Because like right now, on my video, this person is saying that I'm scamming, I'm taking advantage of people, wolf in sheep's clothing. And I realize that this is a comment being left under a video where we have testimonials of people's lives who are changing and kids playing in the background, all this other stuff. So it ends up not it ends up not being a good platform for them. They end up looking unintelligent. And that's part of the reason I delete the comments, is because even if their comments work against them, even if I'm doing a video that shows that we're incredibly charitable, we're loving people and changing people's lives with incredible testimonies, and they're saying we're the worst, all that does is embarrass them. And ultimately, I could sit back and be like, well, they're embarrassing themselves, so I'm just going to let them look stupid. But I don't think that's a Jesus thing. And so I'm doing the extra legwork to try and delete the videos and keep an eye on it, because ultimately my goal isn't to let this person work them into a place where they just look stupid and nobody listens to them and they're not validated. My goal is keeping a revival mindset of, this person's going to have a God encounter and they're going to realize they're wrong and they're going to want to apologize. And how hard am I going to make it for them to redeem themselves? You know, like if my goal is to let this person embarrass themselves, then if they ever do get to a place where they actually want to redeem themselves, and I've been part of the group or the process that defame them, discourage them, embarrass them, or let them embarrass themselves, it's going to be this gigantic wall they have to climb over to get back to dignity. And I realized that if I actually just, without jumping in and interacting, if I can do what I can to help them retain dignity when they're embarrassing themselves, then it's just going to make it all the easier when the Holy Spirit shows up and convicts them, for them to actually retain dignity. And so that's not always the case. Sometimes, no matter what you do, a person is so bent on a tangent that you literally just have to kind of let it go. And even God has done that in Scripture. He just lets people go, like in the sense of like, if you're going to be this far gone, I'm not going to hurt you, but I'm also not going to help you. I'm just going to get out of your way. Sometimes you have to get out of people's way. But right now, I still have hope. I miss this person tremendously. There's not a day goes by that we're in the store that we wish that they had made better life decisions and gone to rehab, and had gotten right, with the law, and everything like that, and could just be here. And I still hope for that. I still hope for that story. And so as a shop owner, I come here early. That was one of my struggles today, was dealing with that, the comments that are coming up and everything like that, just loving that person. And there's the fear of, oh man, I wonder if there's other people who want to donate to our cause that'll read those comments and then decide not to. But I can't live in that fear, and I can't control people. I know who we are and what we're doing here and how amazing it is. And we just love the crap out of people. Literally, we just love them till the crap gets out. You can either kick the crap out of people or love the crap out of people, and we just want to love the crap out of people. So now it's 11:23. The other cool thing, I had my BSSM first year interview today. The guy named Les Coombs, awesome guy. Super glad to meet him. I had like a 30-minute interview. Really, really cool guy. I'm really excited. I hope I get to go to BSSM first year this next year. I'm going to hound my wife to fill out her application, because it sounds like it would be beneficial for us to both go and to be a part of that community. And then, the rest of my time in the shop early on like this, I just get to have worship music on. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. I've got worship music on coming on the other computer. But I'm in a place today where I'm like, man, tomorrow is the due day for $3,000 on rent. What's going to happen? Am I going to go and say, hey, I'm sorry, we haven't come up with it. We had hope, we had dreams, we had visions. And the answer is, well, you guys just can't be here. You have to leave. Is it going to be something miraculous, like before tomorrow, somebody comes in and cuts us a check? Is it going to be the donations come in or whatever? Or am I going to call tomorrow and have to call and get an extension or work something out, or we're going to come up with whatever? I'm not really sure what that's like. And for me, it's incredibly uncomfortable. It's slightly embarrassing because I know where we're at and that we've made such good decisions. And people on the GoFundMe, we're almost up to $1,500. And so for me, I'm like, man, I hate that we've had $1,500 come in and we're still $3,000 short. But we have about $10,000 worth of expenses in the long run. The short term is we need to get the rent caught up. The previous short term was we have to have chairs and other stuff for customers come in so that we can make that rent money. And so that first 15 that came in, or 13 or 12 or whatever came in, we used on stuff immediately so that over the course of the month we could have more sales. But now we're just in a spot where we really just need a miracle to happen. And I love being in that spot because when a miracle does happen, it's such a great story. The day that we needed to cover this. But also, I don't know. We might not have anything happen tomorrow. I have to go and have a adult conversation with a person that I owe rent to, who's been wonderful and amazing and super supportive of us. But it's also, they have a business and they pay bills just like we do, and they have to be paid just like we do. And I don't know what the outcome will be. And it would be super embarrassing and terrible and painful to not be able to continue to be here. But I would 100% totally understand. Totally understand. Because we just haven't made enough to cover those expenses. So we're hopeful. We really are. And we've reached out to people and we've been vulnerable about where we're at. And yeah, I just love being in this spot. It's weird to say that, but I mean, really, it's a great spot. I've got an amazing store. We've got an amazing community. And I really believe that we're going to come through. I really, really believe that we're going to be able to do something, or I have no idea. I have no idea what to really think right now. And I would be terrified, but, God, I used to hear like 10 years ago, God's good and he provides and all of this other stuff. But it's one of those things that you don't really get it in your bones till you experience it. And over the past couple of years, we've been in financially tight places, and yet we're here, And so in that way, I'm super encouraged that a miracle will happen or something will happen or there will be leniency or something like that. But even if there's not, worst case scenario, we have to shut down the shop and try again in the future. We still have a huge following of people who know what we're about, what we're doing. And the relaunch of this place, whenever that happens, would be incredible. But I am looking forward to whatever happens next. And, dude, if you have a giant pile of money and you want to help an amazing shop cover their expenses so they can keep going, that would be amazing. But yeah, you guys are incredible. And I think I'm going to jump out, maybe go run some errands. And maybe go home and take a nap before I have to open up today. Either way, it's good things. It's super good. And hope you guys are just super blessed. And I will let you know over the next couple days what the update is for our situation here and what's happening. Because it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see that actually happen. All right. Well, have a great day, guys.